Okay, I wanted to go through a couple word problems here for 10.1. So in a soccer league, season points are tracked. Each goal a player scores is worth 3 points, okay? So each goal a player scores is worth 3 points. By the end of the season, the team has 54 points. How many goals were scored? So the first step for this is we need to set up an equation. So what are we looking for? We're looking for goals, okay? So this is going to be our variable g, okay? We're going to make it g. So by the end of the season, the team had 54 points, and each goal a player scores is worth 3 points. So we would need to multiply the number of goals, right, by 3. So 3g equals something at the end of the season, which in this case is 54. So now we have set up our equation, and now we need to solve using opposite operations. So we will divide by 3 here, divide by 3 here, and we get cross that off, and then we get 54 divided by 3, which I believe is 18. So we now have our answer of g equals 18. G equals 18. Okay, let's check this next one. For the month of January, the average afternoon temperature is 1/4 of the average morning temperature, okay? 1/4 of the average morning temperature, okay? So that's some key information there, 1/4. The average afternoon temperature is 4 degrees. What is the average morning temperature? If M represents the average morning temperature, what equation models this problem? Okay, so what do we know? I always like to start these off by writing down what we know. Well, we know the average afternoon temperature in Calgary is 1/4 of the morning temperature. The morning temperature is represented as M, okay? So we know afternoon is 1/4 of the morning temperature. If we want to find a quarter of something, we can multiply it. So 1/4 times M, okay? We could also write this as m divided by 4, because that would also get us 1/4. So these are the same thing, okay? These all equal the same thing. We know that that is the afternoon temperature. We also know the afternoon temperature is -4 degrees Celsius, okay? So now if these are both equal to afternoon, we could just rewrite them as equaling each other. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to write 1/4 m equals -4. So now we start to have an equation that looks like what we can solve. However, instead of doing this on the side here, I think I'm actually going to rewrite it so that it's a little more clear for me to know the opposite operation. I'm going to rewrite it as m/4, which is what we had up here. Okay, so m/4 equals -4. So now we need to do our opposite operations. So in this case, we're dividing by m, so we're going to times by 4, and we're going to times by 4 on this side. And these are going to cancel each other out, and we're going to be left with m equals -4 times 4, and 4 times 4 is 16, so m equals -16. So our morning temperature is 16 degrees Celsius. So I would, because this is a word problem, I want to see your answers in a full sentence. So you can say the average morning temperature is 16 degrees Celsius. Okay? That is how you solve. If it's a word problem, you answer in a word problem. Last one. Lucy is making 4 pairs of mitts. Okay, so that's some key information. 4 pairs of mitts. She has 144 centimeters of trim to sew around the cuffs of the mitts. Okay, 144 around the cuffs. How much trim does she have for each mitt? Okay, so each mitt. So that is going to be, so if she's making 4 pairs, how many mitts are in a pair? There's 2. So she actually has 8 individual mitts, right? Because she has 4 pairs. So she has 8 mitts, okay? And we are looking for how much trim. So I'm going to use the variable t. So we are making 8 mitts, and how much trim does she have for each mitt? So our equation could look something like this. 8 mitts times the amount of trim would equal 144. So the trick with these word problems is setting up our mathematical equation. So now that we've done that, we can now solve. So in this case, we're multiplying 8 by t. So we're going to do the inverse, divide it by 8, and we're going to divide this by 8 as well. These now are going to cancel each other out. So t equals 144 divided by 8. And 144 divided by 8, we can do, is going to be 18. So now, this is our answer, but if we want to get full marks, we got to write this in a sentence. So we can say, Lucy needs 18 centimeters for each mitt. There you go, a couple word problems. So let me know if you have any questions about that. And yeah, send me an email.